Good morning, Azeroth. It is the 16th of June 2025. Grab your morning beverage and welcome to the stream. Today we'll be running through LFR and grab up our weekly puzzling cartel chip. Not any further ado, let's get stuck in. Hope you're all doing well today. It's the start of the week. I know, you take it steady, keep yourselves hydrated, you'll get through. You've got this. Alrighty, let's get ourselves signed up and make sure we go and grab that quest. Quick as we can. There we go. All sorted. We'll run over to the Nightfall stuff as we go. Oh, we've already got it. Fantastic. That will be our third coin, I believe. I knew where the bugger was. Where's the coin? Oh, there we go. It's fine. Alright, onward to Hallerfall while we wait. I apologise in advance this morning. I have had literally no sleep. Not for lack of trying. Dinner early, bed early, head down. Best practices, can't fall asleep for an hour, get yourself up, read a book, go for a walk, that kind of thing. I ticked all the boxes and just... I didn't drift off. So, I'm a little... what's the word? Hardwired feels like the wrong word to use. But head spun all over the bloody shop, I'm afraid. But that felt alright enough to get on and going. Oh, and the light turns. We do have coming up on Wednesday the next patch, which brings with it some Arathi questlines with Faerin, getting her out of the underground and back into where her legacy and namesake began, in Azeroth, in the Arathi Highlands. Some of the stuff from the audio dramas they've put on YouTube, both the Jaina and Thrall one and the recent one where we have Faerin narrating over some of her childhood. I'm very curious, both in terms of that first audiobook, or short story I suppose, kind of set up Horde and Alliance tensions still existing there. So whether the game ends up just completely resolving what was left set up there, or plants more seeds of, you know, this conflict could blow up again at any time, we're just taking an in-game look at it. Remains to be seen. Nonetheless, I'm very curious what it'll set up going forward. There's a lot of possibility with all this bit and eventual Army of the Light stuff, more than likely. There's also going to be the lore walking with Cho, which I'm always excited for a good story with Cho. And given that said lore walking can be tackled very early, I believe it's like level 10 or 20 or something like that, and you'll be able to do these quests with Cho. They're launching with 3, which is the Lich King, because you've got to have your Lich King story, Xal'atath, and a general ethereal one, I think. Again, I haven't looked too much into it, mainly because I just don't want spoilers. I wanted to experience it myself. But the Arthas one, for nostalgia aside, the other two, both leading into Xal'atath's backstory and giving us some more info for the ethereals, very prudent given what's coming up next patch. I won't be able to speak to how much XP each of those might get, as I hardly imagine by doing the 3 of them from level 20, you will go from that level all the way up till War Within and new content. But if they're building this in as something where in the future you can see them adding God knows how many storylines for different characters across the entire history of the game, with however many expansions you want to go for, you could have enough stories in there to, in theory, level someone up all the way. So I think it's a good experiment. I'm sure they've had plenty of feedback on the PTR. We will see how it turns out, but especially as still one of the weakest parts of the game is how difficult it can be for a new player with no knowledge of any of the lore, never played Warcraft 3, that kind of thing. Someone like that who comes into the game, for them to grasp and get any of that story when the game thunders you through it so quickly. There's no real way to grab it all without saying, right, I'm going to pause leveling and I'm going to go quest by quest, zone by zone. And then for that matter, raid by raid to see all of the story. The game doesn't provide an opportunity to do that in a way that feels organic. So I think having some specific vignettes with Cho is a decent way to get around that problem. Especially, obviously we've got something like player housing coming. You're going to get a lot of players in who are either long relapsed or never played before. And those stories will be a great way to get folks up to speed. How many they add will remain to be seen. I'm trying to think in terms of, we'll see this week. I think the plan is, on Wednesday when the patch comes out, we'll go with Feyrin and do as much of her story as we can do. And then I think the following day we will bang out those 3 stories with Lore Walker Cho. I can't imagine it'll take more than a couple hours to do all of them, if that, to be fair. Because I know it's got some of that old vehicle tech where you play a different character, get a couple of fancy abilities. That's the only thing I kind of knew about it from their early press release on the matter. But if they want to keep that going to the point you can just level through it, you're going to have to add a lot of characters, and it's not like we're lacking for that. There are plenty of WoW characters and stories you can go through, from major lore characters to really obscure shit. Just old side questing zones. If you really wanted to, you could do something as silly as do Millhouse Manastorm and his story. God knows where that is these days. But you could do a lot. Especially if you start tying some more rewards to it. There is a lot of room there. A billion gaps for folks. And maybe you could tie some specific cosmetics behind it too. That'd be nice. We know the Feyrin quest has her shoulder pad, which is a very unique piece.
The enemy will return to throw themselves upon our blades once more.
Here we go. If I'd been doing these every day now, by the way, I would have the reputation fully maxed out and we'd have all the necessary rewards, but again, I'm not
always be prepared.
Burning to get them done that quickly. Oh, we're at 6 anyway, yeah. Even casually doing them maybe once a week, if that. You know, at 9 it's another links. Then it's titles and tabard. How's our queue looking? Average 26 minutes. Oh, it gets longer by the week. It's not too bad though. How is our Galagio one? Now that I mention it. Alright, yeah. 14 of 20, I believe. There'll still be folks doing this up until the next patch. Once we hit that point, I imagine it will be a lot harder to get that rep. But I'm sure when it comes to going back and doing it in future expansions for transmog runs and that kind of thing, it'll be something that can be earned, then I imagine it doesn't just get turned off. Because why would you at that point? Also, this past weekend, I mentioned it like many, many weeks ago, just in watching a show called Mobland, which is like Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren in a crime family thriller drama kind of show. It's one of those things you see enough on like YouTube Shorts or TikTok and you're like, right, I've got enough spoilers in enough episodes where I'm interested now. But here in the UK, the only way to watch it was Paramount Plus. Legally. I'll preface, legally.
We are the warriors of the sacred flame.
They're cheeky buggers. You can only get a free trial for that one for a week. So it was, right, we do that, sign up, cancel subscription immediately so I'm not forgetting and they're not charging me. Binging it all over the weekend. And it was a solid show. It was a very good show. I will say, all said shorts and whatnot, as ever, end up spoiling some of the bigger twists, and the later episodes didn't have as many twists as I was kind of hoping it would. But these days, it's kind of just a joy to see Tom Hardy work. And Pierce Brosnan was just, what's the word? Aggressively Irish. It was fun to see. Him and Helen Mirren just being a pair of absolute crazy folks. In a way that by the end of the show, and they're set it up on a cliffhanger to the point where it's like, alright, well, if they season 2, they've got a lot to work with here. And from what I read afterwards, there is a lot of interest from the cast to do a season 2. But it just went... You know when you have really smart characters in a show, and they start doing stupid stuff? You know, you can mirror the end of, like, Game of Thrones kind of thing. It wasn't that bad by any means, but... For these leaders of this big crime family, it was like, right, we've really gone off the deep end, and I guess that's kind of the point. You're past your primes and you're doing silly shit. But by the end, it just got a little ludicrous. How much... I don't know, it felt like they were shooting themselves in the foot on purpose in a way that went beyond individual arrogance. It just became truly foolhardy. But we're still a very entertaining show, and as I say, watching Tom Hardy work is a joy. My guy just so it's so weird going back to like one of the first films I remember him in, which was like The Dark Knight, where he was Bane, and being, wait, this is the same guy, and I know he did stuff before that point. And I do have a soft spot for him as Venom, to be fair. I heard that third Venom film wasn't that great, but at some point, I would like to finish that little trilogy. It's just a shame it seems like we'll never see him and Tom Holland's Spider-Man act together. It'd be nice, but then you get into all rights ownership and that kind of garbage, and nightmare. Got one more spiders. I'm about caught up in my D&D and Critical Role watchings. I know it's much more niche in that regard, but they've started doing a series within, because they've just put out their own, like, what's the word? TTRPG instead of D&D, like as a replacement, called Daggerheart. And all that shit sold out. Like, I got one on order that'll come some months down the line, which is alright. I am in no rush, because, you know, it would require finding a game group. Once again, it's been a very long time. But within that, there are modules for different campaign settings, and one of them is Age of Umbra, which Matt's been very clear is like, right, this is my love of Dark Souls, Berserk, Bloodborne, that kind of thing. A much grimmer, darker, and harsher fantasy. So they're doing an 8-episode mini-series set in that world. And as someone who's only watched bits of the Daggerheart stuff before this point, especially being so enamoured and introduced to D&D through them, it's really interesting to see them swap to a different system, and it is very different. most of your players are rolling the 2d12s. Pick one that's kind of labelled as hope and one that's labelled as fear. It doesn't have like standard initiative, and the DM kind of lets the story flow. It's a much more narrative focused, which, you know, it's going to be hit and miss with some people. Some folks really like the heavy rules mechanic, getting really into the weeds, whereas I'm much more narrative focused. So I'm very curious to see how it will function in that regard. But seeing already some of the, like, when a character goes down in this specific version of it, you can do one of three things, and I might be misremembering the specifics here, so bear with me. You can either go out in a blaze of glory, where you achieve something miraculous, but your character immediately dies afterwards. So very final. You can go unconscious and get a permanent scar, which permanently reduces one of your other currencies is the wrong word. Resources, that's a better word for it. Which is hope. But you do more damage. So the more you've come close to death, the more damage you deal, but also the harder it is for you to kind of keep a hold of said life. And the other is you can roll. And if you fail the roll, you die. If you get the roll, you pop back up again. So it created these moments where in regular D&D, when someone goes down, there's a lot of up, down, get a heal on them, down they go again, get a heal on them, down they go again, do your death saves. And there is something thrilling to that, especially in the moment, but it feels a lot more impactful here, in a way that I'd really love to test myself. And they're going through it, and they've had a few of those moments so far. It's very intriguing. So the folks at Dimension 20 have just started a steampunk world on their end, called Cloudwood Ho. It's always a little difficult to get in on the first episode, but there's some silly shit going on already, so I'm like, alright. Warbound, more junk, warbound gun, big purple blunderbuss, sure, we'll take that for the bank. One more group. Usually we've got a raid find a Q pop by now. Oh boy. And then some of those folks again, Dimension 20, have more Worlds Beyond number out, and that show, that, what's the word? Narrative D&D style audio drama just goes from strength to strength. I absolutely adore it. We're getting some real big, not even wrap-ups, but culmination of character backstory coming back to bite the players in the ass, and you love to see it. Like a dead character suddenly being, oh no, undead version of this character is now here, and questions are to be asked. Or the wizard's entire life, culture, area they grew up with suddenly being under such heavy scrutiny. Traitors abound. And could this mother figure actually have been one of the villains all along? That kind of thing. And our witch character flew a broom for the first time, and it was joyous. I know I'm just rambling between shows, but I'll do that, especially when I'm knackered. But it's truly a joyous show. That's Worlds Beyond Number. There's a lot of it on YouTube. I highly, highly recommend the listen. Excellent one for falling asleep too, I'll tell you that much. Whereas anime, I'm a little behind on at the moment. Maybe a week or two behind on what I was enjoying, which was My Hero Academia's Vigilante spin-off, which again, very much enjoyed. I think last time I spoke about it, they just met up with like the dude who would become Stain from the main series, and that we're pushing a little close in a way where it feels like they're having to tie things in neat bows sometimes. But I'm still enjoying it. And then the show, which was My Hero X, which continues to impress with its art style, jumping between 3D, 2D, and then within 2D, different art styles, which is really cool. The story is getting ridiculous, though. We have jumps now between 3 main characters, and every time we do a jump, we seem to go back in time from where the show started. So When, not quite jumpy around, disorientated like at a Pulp Fiction level, but enough where I'm like, okay, show, what is the purpose here? Because you're not creating grand revelations between these characters, at least not yet. So why are we doing this in this order? Why are we going back in time for these? Who are half of the characters in the intro song that have yet to appear? Like, don't get me wrong, it intrigues me, it's just confusing. And I feel like at some point you'll lose people in the watching. But we're meant to have a very big show coming up this month. I believe the name translated something like Island of Trash. Literal trash anime, but it's, I believe, a big shonen one coming out. Might even be a seinen, I'm not quite sure. But folks seem very excited about it, so we'll be keeping an eye. They had the Anime Awards in the past month, which I haven't talked about yet, just because it's a popularity contest. Solo Leveling won, and don't get me wrong, I've said before, Solo Leveling is a entertaining show and an entertaining manga. It's just a lot of what it's set up and intrigue in that world was immediately replaced by, our main character, oh, he's pretty weak and he's gonna get strong, and then he's gonna keep getting stronger, and what happens when he hits a wall? Oh, he's gonna get stronger still, and anything interesting and deeper than that kind of went out the window. So it just became your standard power fantasy, albeit with really good artwork. And its animation, and suddenly after that show, the word aura went from not really being used to everyone talks about aura and aura farming now. And it's like, oh, okay. Alright. Sure. The internet and words, I suppose. But Anime of the Year? No. Freerun, I believe, should have absolutely won that. Because when its animation pops off, it's better. Oh, maybe that's unfair, Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling has some fantastic animation. But you combine that with such a heartfelt, wholesome, and also heart-wrenching story of, you know, the hero's journey's over. We're already through, we're already done, the big story's finished. We're seeing it through the eyes of a new generation. This older, near-immortal character goes through the story again, and it's... I don't know, if you've never watched Freerun, especially if you're an anime fan, have watched something like Solo Leveling. This isn't just me shitting completely on Solo Leveling. I do enjoy it. It's certainly worth a watch. But Freerun is just, it's something special. And it just became clear that the anime rewards at Crunchyroll are just a popularity contest. Which kind of undersells the point, because you've got a load of like YouTubers and stuff and your regular anime goers essentially talking shit and being like, well, Freerun should have won anyway. So, you know, it's not like my opinion on the matter is a foregone one. It just, as anime and Crunchyroll get bigger, as they have been doing it year upon year, it's wild to think how mainstream anime has become. Like, you started seeing glimpses of it over the years. Moments with shows like Sword Art Online, as much as I look back and visibly like shudder at that show, to Attack on Titan, which, my goodness, kept going and going. Thoroughly enjoyed that show. It became so much. From where it started, these were big turning points when numbers kind of skyrocketed in a way it hadn't before. But if they want things to be taken more seriously, they need to put some seriousness behind said awards.
Return and peruse my inventory.
Nullstones, Tarib, you robbing bastard. You're not getting my weekly. Absolutely not. Disgraceful behaviour. We'll put some of our goodies in the war bank.
My directive is to serve you.
More work for the Enchantress soon. Because we're very nearly full up again. Nope. As I say, given the fact I haven't slept, it will be a shorter stream. I'll be going until this weekly thing is chipped out, which is 4 bosses.
Doesn't have to end here.
Oh, save me the mush.
Just because ideally I need to get my edits done for both this and from the evening streams. Which again, Expedition 33. That game continues to impress with 3 streams in now. And I'll be honest, a part of me wanted just to play it all bloody weekend. And set up some streams to do so, but it's important to give myself the breaks. And as it's likely going to be the last thing that becomes a regular stream, I'm happy to give it its time. I'm still mostly spoiler free. Every day there's new articles that pop up, new thumbnails, new shorts that I'm having to, oh, it's a spoiler, move. Because some people very kindly do what I do, which is they slap a spoiler warning at the start of the short. And you're like, okay, I know, I can move on. Some don't. You get a couple seconds in and you realize, oh, this is the final boss fight. And I can tell because the name is the Paintress, you know, the main antagonist of the game, which may or may not be the final boss. I don't know. But I know I'm... God damn it. Someone always pulls the damn thing. And then you get character names popping up in articles. So-and-so isn't what you thought. And it's like, go away, please. But I'm pretty spoiler-free still. There are like snippets I'm getting that are revealing things that I'm not sure about. But one thing I know, for example, is that once the end of the game, the epilogue is available, it is kind of recommended you go and do that before starting to clear out side content. It's one of those games where when you clear the game, get an ending, you're thrust back to before the said final boss. Which is good. And they say if you go around and do all the side stuff, that final boss will be made piss easy. And it won't really be much of a fight or challenge. Whereas all of the extra stuff, there is a lot of fight and challenge to be had. So, I mean, we'll see how we get closer to that point. We have a long way to go before we get to that point. But that's probably going to be the route I go down. And I found my first platforming section yesterday, on Friday, which was... struggled. That'll probably be the short today. Keep it simple. A lot of slipping off logs. But if that's... because it says straight after you complete that platforming section, oh, there are other beaches with other platforming sections. This is like baby's first platforming, and I'm like, nah! How could you do this to me? It's going to be rough. I feel it in my bones. But it was still enjoyable. And the reward was swimsuits. And I'm like, oh, okay, game. These are cosmetics I'm never actually going to equip. But I'm a collector. Gotta get all of the things. Gotta find all of the stuff. All of the secrets. I've no doubt I've missed a chunk already. We already know in sections where I feel like I've missed something. I wasn't paying attention to the big brown swirl. Honestly, I didn't even see it. Come on, someone be kind. Res me like I res that person, please. They won't. Because everyone moved and everyone saw I didn't move. Yeah, that's what happens when you... even LFR. If you've got no sleep and your brain can't pick up on the fact there is shit on the floor, you're trying to do commentary. Oh. I still love that the Drunk Master up there, by the way, that little one, because someone pulled it, is just firing at the raid the whole time. Oh, for me? Bubble. Thank you, stranger. Whomstever you are. Oh god, a tank went down. Get them up. Just lock in for half a second. And get these other two up. This folks got me up. Bring him down, bring him down.
For a higher caliber. There's just got a little more confidence.
Oh no. That feeling when you can feel a sneeze coming on, that tickling in the tips of your nose.
Your friend's toes.
Hey, good stuff. We hit our greeds and our transmog button and get nothing. Oh, and this will do it as well. This next one's free bosses, so we get that banged out. Shot grab on other stuff. Oh, I got one for greed. Isn't that nice? Have a swig of his beverage. Make sure you're all doing the same out there. Keep yourselves hydrated. Oh, how is my trading post stuff looking this month? Not fantastic, but we have half the month left. We should be fine. Oh, they've already beaten 2 of the bosses. The one time I didn't want that to happen. It's fine. It means just waiting for one more group. I think this will be our 3rd chip, so we can actually get a piece of gear. Which will probably be a trinket? Question mark? Something that does something fancy. Again, because the underpin's finally dead and gone, I'm not too bothered about finding, which is the meta option, which is the best trinket for what I need. Don't care that much. But I'll pick one that seems interesting. Probably pick that out tomorrow is probably the wiser course of action. I will log out, buy the NPC, then tomorrow figure that out with more of a... what's the word? A brain capable of some calculus. Not even that. A brain capable of reading options properly. At least for Claire Obscura this afternoon, get a bit of a nap in first would be the hope. Not always nap. I'm the type where I find it really difficult to nap. Like, if I get about an hour to 2 hours sleep, I then feel worse. But occasionally, that will do better than just soldiering through. Like, I've already got a pounding headache. But what'll be, when I'm done here, I'll get my shorts done. Then ready to upload. Then we'll see where we go. I did start playing a sequel to a roguelite I used to love, Wizard of Legend. In this case, Wizard of Legend 2. The first game was very 2D and very pixely art style. You play a mage, if that wasn't clear, a wizard, and you find loads of different spells as you go through runs and try and beat different wizard bosses. And it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that game. It had a decent amount of content over time. But this one, they shifted into a 3D cel-shaded art style rather than the pixels, which it comes out alright. I think it looks pretty decent. And while there are a few less spells than there were last time, there's a few more modifiers and ways to permanently upgrade said spells, which basically changes how they function. So it kind of works out, at least from what I can tell. I think some of the reviews being mean to it, saying, oh, there's this many less spells than there were in the last game, and I'm like, yeah, but if they have a mechanic where Every single one of these has a bonus upgraded variant version that changes how most of them function in a significant way. But that almost counts as different spells in and of itself. But it's fun, repeatable goodness. I didn't get too far in it. I didn't find it odd. Every achievement I got was like rare 0.1% of players, which says to me, alright, so a load of people who got this got it in early access, and the moment it got to 1.0, nobody's playing and unlocking those achievements as of yet. No, it's a stack. And for those who don't know, big twizzly ones like that in WoW these days, where there's a big spiral coming down on top of something, means get on top of it and stack together. They're getting a lot more Final Fantasy XIV about showing off mechanics. They've started their crackdown on some of the more combat-related add-ons as well. People saying like deadly boss mods and weak auras are going to be first on the chopping block. As was said and expected, I just think they're moving a little faster than we anticipated. Or it could be a load of sensationalist articles, to be fair. They said they'd give people plenty of time. Yeah, somebody doesn't use add-ons these days. I don't really care. I know most people seem to, judging by some of the numbers that have been talked about since. There's another game I wanted to mention that was on the tip of my tongue, but I've just lost it in that tangent. I hate when that happens. But clearly had something to talk about, and then it's just gone. Brain has just farted it away. So once he goes down. Beautiful. Ooh, a spark. Rarely drops.
What's next, Gallywix?
Ooh, someone's getting cranky. You want to host me? Keep going. I'll see you soon enough.
Oh no, I have been getting them. I just haven't noticed. It's just how the crafting specifically works. I felt no need to. It makes it all soulbound, so I can't really make stuff for my alts without going and doing specific crafting orders, but my alts need to be the ones who hold these. So it's like, eh. Little gold coins splurting out. Very silly. They've kind of kept the spark system going for a while now. Like throughout Dragonflight. I don't know if it was in there in Shadowlands. I don't believe so. Could be wrong.
Best deals in sight. Always a pleasure. What you need?
Should be someone in here who can take these coins off me. I think it's this fella.
Good deals, good service.
It is this fella. Oh yeah, you can get the mythic version of some of the transmogs, but it's only the weapons, I think. And they're also very silly. Ridiculous, all of them. Yeah, maybe want one of the axes. Because they were the least silly. Knuckles aren't bad, but they're similar to some of the Earthen ones. The axes with these big wedges with chainsaws in them, which is very dumb. Yeah, I'm just going to grab that one.
See you again.
I can see that being one that maybe I use at some point. Right, let's get these two done, then we'll be calling it for the morning. Get off me, mine. Somebody please stop trying to share the quest constantly, please. There we go.
It's the tussle of the century, folks. But what's this? Ladies and gents, it appears we have a surprise three-way battle in the cauldron of carnage tonight. Hope they're ready to crumble.
Very silly. There's cough. I should really bring my tailor into one of these. Okay, move, but not too much.
I need to get closer.
That. Got the T-Rex down here. Everybody run over to take the other. And there we go.
I could hear that crowd from all the way out here. Just don't let the fame go to your head.
Lovely jubbly. One more remains. Trundle along with our silly wheels. Someone immediately pulls this. A quest noise. Please. Please stop. It's so far in now, you don't need to do this.
I'm out of range.
So many stood in the fire. It's alright, because most of them can't see it.
It's too far away.
I do enjoy a bit of off-healing, so given the opportunity to do so.
Get closer. I don't have a target.
Oh my god! Someone's taking the piss. Somebody is. Just feel it creeping into the back of your skull every time they hit the goddamn button.
Looks like we got a party foul in the back.
There'd be some kind of spam protection from that, but... Alright, one more room. It's the sound one. I like the sound one. I'd be very curious what the mechanics for this one would be on higher difficulties, just because that whole running around, bouncing and jumping section, I wonder how they add to that to make it more messy. Someone had enough, just left.
It's too far away.
Come over here. Stop shooting at that hunter. Come get into the room. Here we go. Beautiful. All right, Rick. You are last. That reminds me, there's a new season of Rick and Morty starting up, which... it's just alright these days. Which is fine. Much more of a comfy show. It's a much established character. And it's difficult to be surprised by it. There's certainly moments to enjoy. There's only been 3 out as of yesterday. I don't know if in the UK we're getting it more piecemeal, if it's been out in the US longer, not sure. But it's still enjoyable to go back to. It's more like they're just leaning into all the pre-established built stuff for their characters rather than trying to be overly quirky or silly. But I think it works rather well for it. Now it is more of a, 8 seasons. It's pretty crazy. Gone longer than Community, goddammit. Where's my 6 seasons in a movie? Oh, now there's an old show. If you haven't watched it, go and watch it. I believe they took down off Netflix at some point the D&D episode because one of the characters goes full blackface to do a drow. I don't think that's a reason to get rid of what is clearly pointed out as this is offensive and not okay within the show. For one of the best episodes of that show, and I love a lot of that show. There's ups and downs across the seasons, but Community is still fantastic. That movie is still meant to be in the works. One day it'll come out. They're occasionally working on it, from what we understand. With just about everyone apart from Chevy Chase, which that sounds about right. Because from all we've heard about that dude on the set, fuck that dude. But if that's just one of them shows where, like your Friends, like your Good Life, like pretty much any comfy, cozy show that you can sit and watch, it's up there with all those. Albeit a good more splash of nerddom, I'd say. Oh no, poor healer. Everybody sploosh. I love to this day they just have such things not affect the pets because it would just ruin them all. There we go. That's probably the lowest health he's been as we've gotten to that phase. Very smooth. Almost got him without that phase. Come on, Rick. I say it every time we do undermine stuff at the moment, but I am going to miss these saxophones.
Oh, finally.
Beautiful.
Quiet.
Beautiful.
Thought that blowhard would never shut up. You have my thanks.
And that's all for, and we are good for the day. I think tomorrow I will jump on and do some more horrific visions in Orgrimmar. The whole 8 mask thing proved to be very difficult. Ooh, transmog trip drops available. And a transmog totem. Ooh, very nice.
I have an extended supply
I'll have to investigate that
goods
next
for
time we go back in.
Atlantis. Return and peruse my inventory again.
Yeah.
Gimme.
Don't be a stranger.
Beautiful. Oh, I'm behind. So it's giving me another one. Another week. No, you have to do it one at a time. That's a fancy piratey looking vampire transmog. There's some Venfia stuff going on there. Now, I will sort out the specific reward tomorrow. And I think for the horrific visions, we'll slap Sorodormi on there as a companion to help us. Even if that inflates the enemy damage, or rather enemy health, so it takes longer. A lot of my deaths last week were just things that would grab me, stun me, and then gone. But if Sorodormi's there, that stops me being the run ending outright. So we'll see how we go. But for now and for today, I will say thank you very much for watching. Yeah, and sorry it's a little bit of a shorter one, but oh, it's one of them days. If you enjoyed yourselves nonetheless, feel free to hit that like button. I'll push the video through the algorithm. More folks can come hang out, play some games with us. Subscribe for more content here on the channel. On the weekdays, we try and be here at 9 AM BST with World of Warcraft, and between 4 and 6 we start up with other games. You can find playlists to all the stuff we've already covered right here on the channel. Binge to your heart's content. So until next time, folks, much love, take care, and bye-bye.
A duck walked into an apothecary and he said, "Give me some chapstick and put it on my bill." It's been fun.